watching plays and scores retold. In this podcast the game unfolds. Every try and tackle shared. Legends of the field, none compared. Echoes of cheers, the crowd gets loud. In this audio space, we feel so proud. Pass the word, let the speakers blast. Rugby tales from the present and past. Through the airwaves, our spirits cast. In this rugby love, forever vast.
Okay, guys, can we start with what's your thoughts on the Italy game? I'm gonna make a quick opinion. My opinion of the game was I thought we're gonna bury them, but second half they somehow just deleted our bomb squad. The bomb squad wasn't such a effect that we're known for. It didn't have that. More like their game plan was to just play around it, and they did it well. And I'm scared for the next one.
Hmm. I mean, I will say this. All respect to Italy for the comeback that they staged. And look, I think where it becomes a bit worrying is, was this a once-off bad performance? In terms of the guys who came off the bench, because if now this is the pattern, in some ways it's good we know now, so guys can be phased out. But I suppose it's always the danger of having such a senior team is that, guys are getting older, etc. And also sometimes teams just figure out how to counter things. So, yeah, I think Italy did well to come back the way they did. But like Rusty said in the press conference earlier today, it wasn't like the tries that Italy scored was such that, they, like, the box had nothing for it. It was literally just people missing tackles. And now that, much as it's good in some ways, because it means, our plans are working, is a problem because people need to make their tackles.
Or just maybe you don't have to, in every test, go out and perform or show what you can do. Maybe it's just as I told you, just go out and play. Just don't show everybody what we can do, because champion is coming up. So yeah, so don't worry about this. If we win with 1 point or 2 points or whatever, don't stress about it. We don't have to show our cards right now.
Yeah, Peter, I hear you. But still, you want to start your test season with a bang. And the players that were selected, we thought was going to be a runaway, like a real runaway. And second half just went wrong. And I mentioned during the game, did you guys see our little space they gave Colby? They were on Colby like butter on bread.
Yeah.
They gave him no room.
But what I appreciated was, I think it was one of Moni van der Berg's tries was scored because the box exploited that. They noticed that, okay, Colby's been marked so well. All you do is make him a dummy runner. Suddenly everyone's going towards him. Gap opened up.
Ja. Kobus, wat dink oom?
Ja, ek weet nie. Ek het nou laasweek die Barbarian game bekyk en die week. Ek dink dat die bomsquad kom 'n bietjie te vroeg op. Hulle moet jy so 60, 65 minute opbring. Veral in die games in Italië. Dis vir my half of hulle so vroeg opkom of die span bietjie ontwrig of die ouens dan bietjie ritme verloor. Maar kudos vir Italië om aan te hou beklei tot op die einde toe. Ek het maar 'n 20 punt win vir die Bokke gesit, maar ek het diep binnekant gedink dit kan nog baie meer wees. My ander vraag is net, na so 'n game, Moet jy regtig al veranderinge maak? Is dit goed of is dit sleg?
Ja, ek wil nou daarby kom. Ek het baie te sê daaroor. But I want to discuss the game first, and then I want to speak about the All Blacks and the French game, and then we can say end it off with the team selection for this weekend and with the predictions, if you don't mind.
Sounds good.
Good.
Players that stood out for you guys in the game. I'm not going to be harsh on Willemse. Moya, me and you, we spoke. I'm at a 50-50 for Willemse.
Yeah.
Yes, he did bad things, but yes, he did make up for it as well.
And I think he made the most running meters since Mapimpi against Romania in the World Cup. So a lot of running meters, and you could see he was really trying to keep busy, which I appreciate. But yeah, the problem with that is sometimes that means, especially coming back after not playing for a while, mistakes are going to be made, and those mistakes can be costly.
Yeah, we know the bench didn't do the job. But like in the starting 15, was there anybody that you guys were kind of disappointed with and said, listen, you didn't pull your weight?
I mean, it was weird. Like, I want to say with the forward pack, right? They did well, but, I suppose it's a credit to Italy. But when you have someone like Etzebeth being driven back in tackles, when you have Oxenchair not, having the sort of dominant go forward he usually has, and also even in terms of turnovers and that, I was thinking, I wanted more from Marks in that view. But I suppose in the first half, we had so much possession that there's no need for turnovers. Like, how are you going to turn over the ball if you have the ball, right?
Yeah.
Also, I mean, I think the backline played well. I think just in general, I wanted more go forward from the likes of Etzebeth, Ox, and Marks.
Peter and Kobus?
The forwards a bit for me is like, yes, in the first half they had a lot of the possession, but they didn't dominate as we thought they would again. I mean, the Boxers were a hell of a heavy pack. And with that pack, Moya, you should walk over the Italians, which didn't happen. And that was a surprise to me.
No, agreed.
Yeah, I'm actually, thank you, Niels. I'm not a big fan of, what is his name, Isabeth. I was never a fan, but he's there. And they show he's human and the way they were playing him, just to show the world, hey, you can take this guy on. He's not unbeatable or unversatile or whatever. And I'm glad about that. And I'm glad that coaches can see this. I hope they see this and see, hey, this guy, maybe he doesn't bring that passion anymore to the team, and start looking for other players because he's not young anymore. We have to build for the next World Cup.
There's only two players that I want to mention that I can't say that was disappointing, or I will ask the question, why were they there? Veli, to get his 99 and to get his 100 now this weekend. We saw the team sheet. There was no surprise. In fact, Moya, did he make his first Springbok test? Wasn't it against Italy as well?
It was in 2013.
Okay, so it came a full circle now.
Yeah, which is actually quite lovely.
Yes. And Andre Pollard. I can't think for myself 1 second that we even left Mani. and played Pollard. That we left Sasha and we played Pollard. We started with Pollard. Not that Pollard did any bad things, but not in the same sense that he impressed. To say that he justifies the decision to start with him and leave the other guys. That was for me. Krappies, definitely man of the match. And what I did like was our forwards kind of protected a lot of times for Krappies, which means they have a bit of respect for the guy. He's part of the team. Not like we saw with Elton those days. Our forward pack never stood up for him. They let him play under pressure, which he can't. So, Esabet, Peter, yeah, I'm not a fan of Esabet, but it's not his willingness to put his body on the line or his general play or anything like that. As a player, as a human, as a person, I didn't used to like him because he always want to get into a first fight and pull guys around on the field. Do your talking with the ball, not with your fists or shoving guys. But since he became a father, Eben has relaxed a lot, and now he's becoming a father for a second time. So yeah, we're gonna get a more chilled Eben Etzebeth. But my thoughts on Locke, we will get there when we get to the team selection. I thought Eben belongs there definitely with his experience, and he's not a bad player. He's an excellent player. You can't say bad about how he's playing. But in general, I'm disappointed in the subs. They disappointed me a lot. And kudos to the Italian game plan to make that unnecessary. How can I say, to just make it not more of a noticeable thing. You see the bomb squad coming on. You see the game momentum shift more to the Springboks. They dominate now. We didn't see that, and kudos for them to be able to do that. And commitment with the forwards, like you guys said, yes, it felt like some of the players were more isolated and given then the turnovers. Maybe more physicality was needed. Maybe we thought we can dominate them with the forwards with 50% effort, which didn't work because they gave everything. They threw everything at us. And this weekend, it's not going to be different.
Yeah, exactly. Coming back to what you said about Pollard, I absolutely hear you. I was chatting to another friend, and we kind of said, for what the back line wanted to do, Pollard was not the man for it. Now, key reason he remains in the team, the man can kick. The man can kick so well. Now, if he can gel with a new game plan, he's got a spot. But by the same token, if you have Mani and Sasha getting all their kicks, then Pollard drops to number 3. If you still look at him in the setup, because once Sasha and Mani are getting Pollard's of numbers in terms of conversions, what more do you need? Because they really and I suppose defensively here there, but I think both of them have upped their defense. But the key thing is if they get their kicking right, then there's no reason to actually have Pollard in because these guys can get that business done.
But that's the thing, Moya. Sorry to cut you off, but that's the thing. We have Tony Brown now. You want a 10 to distribute the ball, to be able to do that. And Pollard is not the guy that does that. We're not at the level anymore that we play for getting the 3 points. Just hard physicality with the forwards. We actually have now a backline that likes to run. Yeah. So surely I can't see a place for Pollard anymore unless you play the All Blacks or you play a serious team that you're hoping on getting that penalty and winning by 2 points or 1 point or 3 points.
Yeah.
Rather than you play Italy now and you want to play a type of All Black type of running rugby with the back line,
Mm.
that's why you have Tony Brown. So why have Pollard then there? Because that slows you
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, true. I mean, look, it's if this was NFL, we'd be sorted because you can bring a guy on specifically to kick and then have that be that,
Yeah.
and that's what we would do with Pollard, right? But yeah, look, I think in some ways it's a good thing he's being given the opportunity to adapt, because you don't want to, you can't just throw out a player like that. But the thing is, if he's not adapting to the game plan, I think gone are the days where it's like, well, hey, listen, we're picking Pollard and then we'll pick around what he wants to do. It's now a thing where it's like, cool, we want to do this. We want the Bok brand of rugby to be this. Here's how we feel our best chances of winning the next World Cup are. If we do this or this, okay. He needs to slot into that. So yeah, the hope is that he'll be able to adapt in time. But if not, at least we know we've got Mani and we've got Sasha who can do that. The question then becomes, if Pollard, say Pollard can't adapt, who then is the number 3 fly half gets brought in? I suppose it'll be Jordan, right? So you actually have 3 young fly halves who can play the type of game plan you want to execute. That's actually really, really good news.
Yeah, actually, we have a lot of all the flyers playing now in South Africa for the URC teams would slot into the Springbok system with Tony Brown easily because they're all distributing flyers.
Mm-hmm.
Not the kind of a Mornay Stein or a Pollard, more like a Pollard, because Mornay actually could have distributed at times, but he was genuine on the kicking. Pollard is actually there just to kick. I'm sorry to say it. And his defense is not on par as well. Not
Yeah,
recently now, but
he-
used to be. The defense was a problem.
Yeah, I mean, he has the benefit of being big. So it's just like, hey, you know what? Just throw your body in the way, and, at least you'll be a more effective speed bump than a guy who's smaller and tries to do the same thing.
Yes.
So what are you guys thinking if your pack doesn't do well and he's getting a bad pass? Do you think he's going to adapt to that? He's going to kick the balls away. He's going to be under pressure because now he's on the front foot. So he gets decided what to do. But just think if we play in the All Blacks of the France or, even Australia, and you put your 8 packers under pressure and he must get the ball, is he going to be that effective anymore with his kick to the cross with sidelines and so on?
I think so. Pollard is not bad under pressure. He's actually good under pressure. He's shown that with the Springboks at times. And when he played for the Blue Bulls. I haven't seen much of his games since he went overseas, so I can't speak about that. I speak about what I remember at his Bulls days and what I saw with the Springboks. He's
But
not
even
bad under pressure.
Yeah, even for Leicester, I think. Look, the thing is, because he goes to the boot very often, that he can do at the drop of a hat. So even where the pack is going backwards, and the ball gets passed to him really quickly, even if it's a bad pass, he's used to dealing with that, and he'll put the ball into space. Now, if you have your pack going backward, and now you want to do a move where you're like, okay, you know what, let's run it out of our own 22, I wouldn't necessarily trust him with that.
I'm going to make 2 points. As an All Black supporter, I think the world watched this game on Saturday, and they saw if guys like Italy can keep Kobe at bay and neutralize their bomb squad, then I think Russia should be a little bit worried for the four nations because believe me, if you guys watch the team sheet, this is not Italy's first pick players. There's a lot of youngsters in their team as well.
Yes.
And they really gave the Box a run for their money. No matter, I'm not saying the Box played badly, but the Italy played brilliantly. And the way they kept Kobe at bay and the way the bomb squad suffered a bit, I would be a bit worried if I was Russia because Australia, France, and All Blacks are watching this and they think if those guys can do it, we can do it also.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we've got France and Ireland as part of our end of year tour. So, those two are definitely going to be targeting the same thing. And as you say now, like in the rugby championship, like, what gets scary is, and in a way, I'm actually really annoyed with Argentina for losing to England. But, we have an Argentinian team who beat the British and Irish Lions. We have the All Blacks who are the All Blacks. And so far, like, you get the feeling they're going to get a clean sweep in their test series now against France. So, if those teams and Australia as well are going to be playing the British and Irish Lions, so it's like teams are going to be very well prepared for the rugby championship. And in some ways, I think that's where it's a bit of a worry for the Box as well, is that I'm happy that Italy is stepping up. Because you can imagine if we just walked over them, and then we do the same this week and we do the same against Georgia, what does that really teach you before you go into playing against teams who have played much stronger opposition?
Exactly, Moya.
Yeah, so, I agree, though, teams will be scouting what's happened. And now the question is, how will the Box adapt? But also, is it a case, like was mentioned just now, where they're not showing all their cards? They're deliberately sort of like, hey, look, we could show you something, that we have planned for if this happens, but let's not, because as soon as we show it, obviously everyone knows exactly what it is.
Yeah. Guys, can we quickly get into the All Blacks game in the France? Kobus, ek weet oom het nou nie gekyk nie, maar oom het die highlights gesien hè.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Moya, did you watch that game? The All Blacks versus France.
I watched most of the second half.
Okay. Pieter, het jy gekyk? Okay. Now I heard Elias on the group say, and a lot of people think that it's the second stringers or the third stringers of France. But surely, my opinion is this is not URC, this is not top 14, this is not Super Rugby. This is an international team. So once you send your team to another continent, that is your best. Whether you leave other players there, you consider that's your best to offer. Now, we spoke about it last week with France not really want to send their first players there to belittle basically New Zealand. And New Zealand was taking that as an insult. And it was still a good game. It was a very good game. Unfortunately for the 3 disallowed tries. There's one that I wanted Yiku to be here. That I think that was a try. How can they? When they said he lost the ball forward, it was that forward of theirs. Man, when Kobus help, what was it?
Ek kan nie sy naam onthou nie, Niels, maar ek sal nou met hom praat oor dit.
It's iets Mols. But anyway, that ball didn't go forward. There's no way it went forward, but they didn't give the try. Okay, but they still won. But what I mentioned to Elias, and what most of the people, they say, the All Blacks are bad because they lost or they won just a little bit in front with a second string French team. But how many guys do we know of? If you don't watch Super Rugby, I mentioned this. How many of that All Blacks team that were on the field do you know the names of? Because you don't follow Super Rugby anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real new team building. If you take that team and you compare it to the World Cup team, there's a lot of names gone. There's a lot of new names in,
Yeah.
and it's exciting to watch. I enjoyed myself thoroughly with that game.
Mm.
Roy God was just simply amazing. Rashi compared Morne van der Berg to Aaron Smith. I think they still have Aaron Smith, and his name is Roy God.
Oh, for
Damn,
sure.
that guy can play.
Yeah. I will say one thing that struck me about the All Blacks was that there was a time where I was wondering because like they put they were putting up kicks. I was like, why why do they keep kicking? But literally, the difference was millimeters. And you get the feeling they'll get that right in the second test, where like the ball is a couple of millimeters this way or that way, and that's a sure try, and that's why they're putting the ball up. And you know, it was great because you can see the potentials there. And my thing as well is that I love when there's a plan, like even if the plan isn't as well executed as it could have been, where you can see like, oh yeah, I get the thinking, I get the thinking here. And looking at what they're doing, I can tell you what, uh, yeah, they are, yeah, they're going to be very very scary when all those things click. Because the thing is, remember they won even with not everything going their way. When
Exactly.
they get those small margins, you know, uh, when they get those small margins back, whew, yeah, the rest of the world is going to be in a lot more problems than they're currently in.
And look at all the stars they didn't have in a team.
Exactly. Yeah.
I asked him, Kobus, Wallace Titi, is he injured or just didn't get picked? He didn't get picked. Walter
Mm.
Titi, that was like last year, the year before. He was an up and coming player. He was like one of the best. They
Yeah.
don't even select him. Maybe it was because of they knew that since France is sending their second stringers, like let's say second stringers, so
Mhm.
they're not going to fill up everything. Talia is with the British Island, Irish and Lions, so he's not there. Lowe is with Ireland. He got his citizenship there. He's not going to play for the All Blacks again.
Mm.
Mahunga will not play for the All Blacks again. But if you start to think of all the names that left since the World Cup until now, um, and it was their first game to play, and they played
Mm.
France with all their depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a performance. And then
Well,
actually going at 50%, not executing the other 50%, and you still managed to beat a team that gave you 101%.
yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, for a team that's in a rebuild, they're doing just fine. Because honestly, a performance like that is definitely something to be proud of. I think where they might have a bit of a worry now is Scott Barrett is injured, so he's not going to be available for the next two games. Um, but in some ways, look, you can literally there's two other Barretts who can serve as captain. There are other players as well who can serve as captain. If you have Artie Sevilla at your disposal, well, look no further. You know what I mean?
And
They
Taylor,
have
Cody
guys.
Taylor.
Aha, exactly. So they have actually quite a strong leadership group, and I think that's a massive benefit to the team because, like, yeah, there's people who have a few caps. They had 4 debutants as well, and also like really good for them to to win on debut. That always is a solid start, but. The fact that they are surrounded and grounded by that strong leadership group, I think, is a massive help for them. Um, much as like again, it's a team in a rebuild, but they've got a solid spine running through the team which means that they will remain successful. It won't be. They're not going to go the way of Wales or some of these teams. They're constantly in the conversation. And they're pretty much like, one comma, one full stop away from, dominating the conversation.
Yeah, coming to that, the only player I was a bit disappointed with the All Blacks was Ardie Savea. The first half, yeah, Ardie was slacking a bit. He didn't look like, because if you have a gun to my head and you ask me who's the best number 8 in the world, I will tell you Ardie Savea. If you ask me second, it will be Billy Wanapola. And then third, it would have been Dwayne Vermeulen or that. But I love those two guys, Billy Wanapola and Ardie Savea. Ardie Savea definitely my number one. But he was just like he was not getting into it. Second half, yes. Once he took over captaincy, it was Ardie Savea again.
Yeah.
He will be the captain this Saturday against France as well, Niels.
Okay.
And also, just to say something on what Peter said earlier, but Evan, I think everyone, even me as a non-box supporter, wants Evan to perform every game at 110%, and no one can do that. Not Etzebeth, not Sevilla, no one. I think it's not because I think he played slack or something, but he was a bit quiet in the first half. But the fighting spirit of the All Blacks is still there. I mean, to be 10-0 down against like a so-called second string France and come back to win. And I must admit, I agree with Niels, at least 2 of those 3 tries disallowed were tries. So put another 40 points on there, it becomes 50, 45, 24, and 28, and it becomes a better game already. I think this week we're going to see a different All Black France game.
Yeah, I strongly suspect the All Blacks are going to run away with it because, and look, if I'm honest, I think that's what I'm thinking for the Box as well. I think those two teams will, going to make a statement this time around, in part because they're teams that tend to be really good at adapting. Like, they once they've taken your first shot, they'll know what to do from there. And I think that's where now, hopefully both teams will really show what they're capable of.
I have a fun fact. Well, I have a fun fact.
Yeah.
While I was watching the game, did you guys hear when the commentator said that France in the Six Nations hasn't given away any scrum penalties? Now, we can say, okay, it's not the same team that faced the All Blacks, but if you go into record books, nobody will remember who was the props and everything. They will remember that the All Blacks got 2 scrum penalties out of France, where nobody in the Six Nations could have done that. So now they're speaking of Sir Kerwin, or what's that guy with the glasses from the All Blacks? Yeah, he mentioned that they're coming for the bomb squad. Now we see Italy getting a plan for the bomb squad. Don't you guys think that they will pick upon that and say, "Listen, check the video footage. What did they do to dismantle the bomb squad? Since they beginning to be a better scrum machine, coming the first test with the All Blacks and South Africa against each other, the scrums will be immense." What do you guys think about that? The scrums, and they will have a way to figure out what to do against the bomb squad. And when you have players, and if you have players like Mackenzie, 1 minute Severies gets injured. He goes to the wing. I was confused. I said, why not to fullback or to a fly off? But like we mentioned, Moya, with Geordie there, with Bowden there, you can shift the guys any way you want.
Yeah.
And the Springboks as well. We have guys who can shift around like Willemse. We can play him center. We can play him fly off. We can play him at fullback. We have Cheslin. We have Moody. We have a lot of guys that we can scramble around to see, listen, okay, this is going to be our team. So once they have that first taste, I think that's where our margin is going to be. That's where we're going to see where we're at. Them
Yeah.
and ourselves.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be a good measure of both teams, which again makes it so incredibly exciting. Of course, one wonders, I know we're thinking really ahead into the future here, but one wonders what will happen, especially because the Boks are playing the All Blacks at Eden Park. That
And we've
what
never won
happens
there.
exactly. And now it's like, what happens in terms of selection? Do you go with, oh, hey, let's go with the most experienced team we have? Do you go with, hey, actually, you know what? Here are the guys who are on form. Do you go with just like, hey, look, you know what? We say we want to win every game. We can, like at the moment, our best chance of doing that is a blended squad. Let's blend. It really does become quite interesting.
And the great thing is that Italy gave us a run for our money and will definitely do this coming weekend. And then you have Georgia, also a good scrumming team, also a physical
Yes.
forward team. So we have 3 good tests coming, or 2 more, to come to just test our scrums and everything. So when we get to the All Blacks, that we prepared and say, listen, this is our props, this is our hooker, this is our locks, and we're going to stick with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. And it also makes me happy that, the plan is not to have people play, because I think the Boks are playing something like 13 games, and Rusty said, like, no one's going to play more than 10. And I like that, where it's like, let's rotate a bit, let's make sure we know, by the end of the year, if you can say, like, cool, here are the people we know are going through to 2027, then we're in a good place.
But what worries me is now we have this 3 tests. Okay, we had the Barbarians, not official test, and now we have the 2 Italy and we have the Georgia to figure things out for the championship.
Yeah.
And then after that, like you mentioned, we have the French and we have Ireland. So if everything's not right, should we go do the figure out stuff, the drawing board stuff during the championship for those 2? Or would you like everything to be settled before we get to the championship cup?
I would rather play around with the team now than doing it against France, Blacks, or Australia.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, in some ways, yeah, like, considering this is the warm-up, right? Like, this is essentially our warm-up for the rugby championship. Now's a good time to fiddle around. You had the opportunity to say, okay, we've played, like, let's say, is it 45 or 50 players that are there? If you can say, cool, we've played all of these players, we know who's giving us what, then you're sorted. And it's where, if I'm honest, I'm totally fine with Morne van der Berg and Vincent Chituka, not featuring this week, and same with Lutayaka, because we've seen what they can do. We know exactly what they're bringing to the table. It's like, cool. We know exactly what we're getting from you. Okay. Let's rotate, because then, when you're picking for the rugby championship, you're like, yeah, no, listen, these guys have essentially punched their ticket. I will be incredibly surprised if those 3 don't make the squad. Like, if they're healthy and they don't make the rugby championship squad, I will be really, really, really surprised.
No, I have to agree with you there, Moya.
Well, let's get
Yeah.
into that team selection. Let's get into that team selection because, man, I want to know. And if Eugene was here, I bet you guys that would be his first sentence starting the podcast. Why is Murat there and why is he captain again? Are we building a precedent now to say, listen, if Kulisi's out, Murat is going to be our captain? Because how many times has Murat captained now?
Hmm.
And like you mentioned last week, Moya, we have our four locks, our top four locks available.
Yeah.
Yet we go stuck with Salman Murat and we make him captain.
I don't rate him at all.
Yes, well, ek weet nie, daar's beter slotte in die land. Surely. Landsberg is better than that. Marvin Ori is better than that.
Mm.
Um, I really can't understand why Rasi is picking Murat as a captain. Make Mark's captain since he's starting. He has capped with the Lions. He has capped one or two Springbok games. So
Yes.
make him, or even if you have to go deep, make it Elrich Louw or Marco van Staden. Really, why Murat? Moya, I know you will back up for the guy.
I mean, I will not. I will not. I scratch my head a lot. Whenever I see him there, I'm like, look, I get that Russie sees potential in him, and he's a guy who has captained most of the teams he's played in. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Sure, there's got to be something there. Personally, I'm not seeing it. And I was saying to someone, like, Stormers.
Thomas.
So for the Stormers, and now here's the thing. Unfortunately for him, he's been very injury prone, and that's one thing that counts against him. The other thing is that in a game where you need grunt, he hasn't quite got it. And I was telling another friend of mine when the team sheet came out, I was like, you know what? We need Peter Steph Toy to bring that level of grunt because we're probably not going to get it from the locks. And it's no offense to Murat and Rowan Nokia, but they aren't those sorts of like grunt type players. That's where you need Etzebeth. That's where you need Peter Steph Toy. Those guys will bring that. So the hope here is that the forward pack will balance out. But yeah, I don't see it. And even in terms of captaincy, I mean, look, you could. I'm not gonna lie. If Russie really wanted to, he has a player who's reaching 100 caps. He could give him the captaincy if he really wanted to, right? As you say, Marks could captain. Heck, you could have Thomas Totoy captain. Ruan Nokia captains his team. You could have Ruan Nokia captain. Like Peter Steph Totoy is on the team. He's captained the box before. Like what there are options here. So look, I get he's probably trying to establish from the younger players, who's the guy who can go forward. But yeah, if I'm honest, I'm not 100% convinced on Murat. Again, really hope he proves me wrong. Every week I'm like, please prove me wrong. Like if he's in the Bok jersey, if he's in the Stormers jersey, I'm chilled if he doesn't prove me wrong. I'm actually perfectly happy if he doesn't. But in the Bok jersey, I'm like, yeah, I hope he proves me wrong. But so far, I haven't been convinced.
Yeah, Moya, surely when you have captaincy, at least you have to be a good player to be on the field to be a captain. That's how I feel. I mean, there's a lot of locks that deserve to be there, but they're not there just because maybe Murat has a little bit of captaincy experience. I mean, that doesn't make sense. And what worries me is I saw videos of Rassi's post game speech there, uh, and the guy looked a bit worried.
Hmm.
I must say, I haven't seen Rassi that worried in a long time. Um, and now to make this wholesale of changes, I
Mm.
mean, it's a bit too much for me. It's really a bit too much. Uh, I can understand he's trying to get combinations, but surely we have this group for how many years now? There's a few people that came in. Krappies came in, Edwell came in. The- But the 80% of this whole group that he has played last World Cup, even the World Cup before that. Surely you must have your combinations right now. To take a team that puts you to the limit with a great team that you picked, and with guys still performing very well. I was impressed with Moni. I was impressed with Tasha. Uh, impressed with a lot of guys. But now you make this wholesale of changes. Is it like you push into a corner and now you revert to trying something new? I get
Well,
that sense, and I don't want to get that sense because you guys know I'm hard on Rassi. I'm always hard on
mm.
Rassi. But just as soon as Rassi was gaining my respect and everything, now he does this, and it seems to me a bit reckless.
It'll either be genius or crazy, but my big question is, was this always the plan? Because he had spoken about, like, yeah, he wanted to rotate the squad, but, to make, 11 changes, were all of those planned? Or was it a thing of, well, you know what, this person didn't perform, and that, okay, you know what, uh, now we're making even more changes. The hope is that it's the former, and this was always the plan. Because again, when you look at like particularly the back line, the problem that back line has is that it hasn't played together as a back line all that much. But wow, that is a potent back line. Similarly with the forward pack, our reservations about Murat's side, I think that is still a very strong forward pack. I mean, that front row alone is, I mean, I'm so happy it's the one that's been picked, because just the sheer weight of that front row means you don't necessarily have to have heavy locks. Now, one wonders what will happen if we decide, cool, we're going to play that front row, and then we have like Etzebeth and Diaka behind them. That's going to be very, very difficult to scrum against. But you get the feeling this scrum should do fine. And yeah, the back line should run better because, Mani can do the things that Tony Brown's wanting the back line to do. So it's a brave call, yes, but I don't think it's a desperate call as such.
What do you guys think of Asanati coming up as for the bomb squad? For me,
Uh,
I'm a 50-50 there because Asanati is he used to start with the Lions. He's a starting
Yeah.
player, but he's fit and he's looking better than ever, scrumming
mhm,
better than ever.
mhm,
His general play is better than ever. To
mhm.
have him as an impact player, I think that would work great. That's the one thing I can say from the team that I'm really looking forward to
Yes,
have him
yes.
part of the bomb squad coming in because he can stand his man for 80 minutes long. To give
Mm.
him the last 20-25, he will do damage.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. The of course the instruction will be clear. Just go in and empty the tank. And yeah, very, very happy as well. He's getting now an official test cap, and it's going to be quite a wonderful thing. But yeah, I agree. I think what's nice is as well. We saw from this last week, Wilco Low was doing damage. So I'm like, okay, fine. Let's keep Wilco Low in. Remember last week we were saying like Vincent Koch not so much doing the business anymore. Well, cool. Especially because we know what we get from Vincent Koch. If we didn't get it this week, and we didn't get it this past week, fine. Now let's put in Tlabakani and see what he can do there. I'm quite happy that that's a plan as well, and it's not this thing of, okay, well, look, we know, for example, like even someone like Mostert not getting another run. I mean, on a good day, you know what you get from Mostert, and I think we should also acknowledge these guys are human. Everyone has an off day, but the good news is with the experienced guys, you know what you're getting. So that's fine. Now let's give that opportunity to the younger guys and see what they can do.
I really hope that Wilco Low goes off, Asanati comes on, not the whole bomb squad like we used to, replacing the whole front row at one time. I would love to just see Asanati with Thomas du Toit.
Yes.
I would love to see that with Marks. Yes, I think that would be power.
Yeah. Now that is an exciting combo.
If you look at the team right now, Thomas du Toit, Marks, and Wilco Low. If you go to the bench, there's no hooker there. Jan Hendricks Wessels is the hooker.
Yeah, he's
going to play hooker. Yeah.
So that's the Marks must play 80 minutes.
No, but
I mean, no.
Moya, Jan Hendrik also plays hooker.
Jan Hendrik he's not the hooker.
Yes.
Is he?
He is, yeah. So for this game, he's going to be hooker because he plays both hooker and prop. I think the one time the Bulls also played him at lock. So he's that guy where, like, wherever you need him in the scrum, he'll be there. But he definitely has played hooker a few times for the Bulls. So he's 1/2.
No, that's what the Bulls. That's for URC, not international. Can you under pressure be there? Can you perform? Can you? So I can do this. I would like Marks, Oxenchair, and Asanati as my front row to start with. Make that damage in the beginning, or even if you up a bomb squad, then you don't start with Marks. You don't start with Oxen and Asanati. You bring them up as a bomb squad. And I think they can, the last 20, 25 minutes, they can do big damage because they know we're not going to play 60 minutes. So we put that 20, 25 minutes, we put everything in.
Yeah. No, agreed. That would be quite something.
How do you guys feel about Mapimpi and Edwell?
Yeah, I mean, look, Mapimpi had to get a run. And I think he still provides value when he's on. So, especially where you've got Esterhazen and Moody, who, I mean, the nice thing is if you have Grant Williams, you have Esterhazen and you have Mapimpi in the same back line, they're used to being in the same back line at the Sharks. That's helpful. Edwell gets, I suppose, a nice dry run of what he'll be experiencing at the Sharks, playing in that back line as well. Really, I was telling another friend, I'm like really happy for Edwell, but it would have meant a whole lot more had he been staying at the Lions. But still, happy he gets, he's getting another Bok cap. Because it really was unfortunate for him last time where, like, he got a Bok cap, then I think he did his hamstring, and it's like, okay, that's it. Hasn't been back in since. So I think good opportunity for him to do what he can. And I think what's nice is that, look, the question is, will Italy mark him the way they marked Colby? Or will they be like, actually, we aren't so familiar with this guy, so we can't employ the same tactic, and let's have a wait and see sort of approach.
The problem there would be for me. Come on, Peter.
I think with Edwin and with Mapimpi, even with Moody and Moni Rebok, you can't just go and say we focus on this player. Because if you focus on this player, the other guy's going to hit you badly. Because you have to keep focus on this back line and see, what, we can't make the mistake not to check this guy or this guy because they can hurt us badly. I think this fact that they can charge quickly. It's going to be a long afternoon for Italy.
Yeah, I have my doubts about Moody. I'm still not convinced he's a center. Jake White tried that. Fullback, wing, yeah, but center, I'm not convinced with Moody at center. And then the other thing is, if he does good combine with Estration, would that put pressure on Damien Dalenda? He's now injured, and Jesse Crew coming to the Championship Cup, or would Rashid?
I don't think Jesse will be there. I don't think Jesse they will drop it because he's playing. Actually, I like this guy. I was like, if Lions want to buy a player around in South Africa, they must go for him because he's playing. Yes, I'm watching him when he's playing for the Springboks or for the Bulls and what. He's really playing. Every week he's there. It doesn't go up and down. 1 week is good, 1 week is bad. That's a player to look at. If I was the Lions, I would look at this guy and say, hey, don't you want to make that move?
Yeah, Peter, if I was the Lions, I would go for Jooste of the under 20s. Yeah, daar's 'n paar manne daarso wat aan mekaar speel, joh. Ja. You guys watch the under 20s?
The number 9 of the under 20s, that Piat ook. That oak's fucking brilliant.
Oh yeah.
He's with us.
We need to put him in our senior structures. I know he was playing for the under 21s in that in the under 21 championship or like the under 21 Curry Cup sort of thing. But I'm like, yeah, when he comes back, we need to just be like, cool, straight into the senior team. Let's do some good business. Some good news with the under 21s. Oh, well, sorry, with the under 20s, like with the baby box. What's the name? Felix, who played for UJ. The fly half. He's been called up.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah. So hopefully we get to see a bit of him. Because, he... The bits and pieces I saw of him, he's playing so well as well.
Yeah, he's got tons of talent there at Moya.
And if he can, I'm just thinking, because the current fly half has played every game so far. I'm like, well, we need to let him rest as well. You can't do this thing where you're like, yeah, it's him all the way through, because if anything happens, what do you do? So, I think having Felix there is a massive, massive help.
Guys, can we go a few minutes over the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask a serious question. So we're gonna give Willie his 100th test this weekend. The way forward. Are we gonna keep him for the championship? Are we gonna keep him for the French, for the Irish? Surely, how much does Passy have to do? If Willie gets his 100, don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing on the guy, but let him get his 100 and then send him off. Because guys like Passy, guys like Quine Horn, Moya, you mentioned with the lack of the number 6 in the Springboks. Renzo was called up.
Yes.
But was let go again. And that's the thing that frustrates me of Rassie Erasmus. He takes Lions players, put them in a squad, but they never get game time. And that frustrates me a hell of a lot. Surely if we could get a Renzo in for the second test, for the Georgia, like you mentioned, there's a lack of number 6 with Kulisi now. We don't know how serious the injury is. Is he going to miss the Georgia test as well? Is he going to miss part of the Championship Cup? We don't know.
Yeah. No, exactly. I agree with that. Where here's where there was the opportunity then for more of a depth test, and again, like, why would you bring up this guy and not use him. Look, I suppose the thing to remember as well with being called up to like the alignment camps and also like even just the wider squad is sometimes it's also just to get people familiar with the systems, and it's like, hey, we've got our eye on you. Like, yes, there's people ahead of you at the moment, but we know if and when we need to call on you, you're right there. So like, don't worry about it. Like, here you've picked up some things that you will hopefully retain, but we will call you up at some point. But with Billy, yeah, I agree. Where let him get his 100, let him ride off into the sunset in terms of international play. He can be useful in terms of like do like you've done with Dwayne Vermillion. Put him in the Moby unit. Have him go work with whether it's the juniors, the women, the senior structures as well. Like he can go and mentor some of the younger players in that. Him being part of the Moby unit means also he should be able to travel with the box. And, he's a guy that will probably be really good to practice against, yes. But, yeah, I would say in terms of playing time, the time is right to then say, fine, we have Fussy, we have Willemse, we have Kieranhorn. Those are three. Those are the three we're working with. If others break into the system, great. But, those are the three that we are banking on going forward.
Yeah, I agree. It's time for Willie to pass the torch, like they say.
Yes.
Yeah, give the young guys a chance. You get your 100, and then we let you go. I mean, we kept you for 2 minutes too long, too long.
Like
It's like a relay.
50 takes too long.
Excuse me, Kobus?
So 50 toetsen te lang.
Yeah. Okay, guys,
Hy doen hy 100, dan gee hy stokkie oor vir die volgende ou om te sê dat jy nou aangaan en so aan.
Ja,
I think
so
they
ja.
only going to use you now for 100 and say, okay, you got your 100, thank you very much, thank you for your service, but we don't need you anymore. I think that's just going to happen.
Tonight is a night that I really miss him with Jim, because I would have liked to say, Willie at his best, when playing a good game, he was on fire. I don't think you guys can remember ook like Gijsie Pienaar. Gijsie Pienaar, he was on fire, nothing could touch him. But if he had a shocker, he was like a under 9 guy playing for the senior Bokke. And that's what Willie looked like. He's always in my mind, I think, if you see Willie playing, I see Gijsie playing. If he plays good, he plays hell of a good. If he plays bad, he's worse than anyone else.
Yeah,
like
Willie, when he becomes part of the line. So, sorry, Moya?
No, I'm saying like he goes between two extremes.
Yeah. There's no middle way for him. It's either bad or good.
One game, Willie can come into the back line and man, he's on fire. And he just kicks at the right time. He decides to run at the right time. But then other games, either he doesn't catch the ball or he's out of position or he's this or he's that. So I think really let's send him off and give him a goodbye and say thank you, Willie, for your 100 and see you never again. And then as soon as we've done that, please can we just send off Andre Pollard as well? And then after that we can get rid of Faf de Klerk as well.
Yeah, please.
Please, yeah, Faf must go, right?
Yes.
Guys, Faf have to go.
Faf, when he was with the Lions and then went to Sale Sharks, yes, by all means. But as soon as he became a Springbok, like a regular, we all said, yeah, Faf's kicking too much. And then he was part of the game plan. And then that World Cup against England, Faf didn't kick anything. So we're still wondering, was that intentional? Is that a game plan for Faf to kick? And not do his regular style that he did with the Lions? And did he adopt that with the Sale Sharks? Did he adopt that with the Springboks? I don't know, but surely Park's time is also over. We have
Yeah.
other number nines that's now blowing hard and really performing as well. Even Reinach. I mean, Reinach with his age, he's still better than Faf.
Fully agree.
Yeah, but you can see he's slowing down as well.
Yes.
Mm.
But the out of hand kicking, it's not every ball that you get out of the ruck you want to kick away.
Yeah.
Reinach doesn't do that. He does it cleverly. He
Mm.
knows when to kick. He reads the play, and it's like Faf is on this continuous journey of his. It's like going over it and over. I take the ball, put the foot out, and kick, and somebody will chase. And it's too predictable. It's too predictable for us. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. But guys, quickly, predictions for this weekend. I'm gonna start off, and I'm gonna say with all the changes there, um, I can't see that we're gonna run away with them. Because Italy now they've adjusted to the altitude and everything. So I think they will come harder at us somehow. But I think the team selection, if they can gel, yes, we'll definitely win the game. But I'm going with the same score as last weekend. And we had to. You guys mentioned that we never come to it back and see what the predictions were. If you heard Elias saying on the previous podcast, he said with 18 points he was the closest. He was on point with his prediction. Um, I said with 10. Moya, you said with 5. Peter, you had a crazy score there.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, such a laugh. Uh, but this time I'm still
Now I'll
going
go
with
this week
10.
with 15 points.
15.
Yeah.
1-5. Okay. Still going with 10. I wanted more, but yeah, since this is a whole new squad, I think I'm going with 10.
Yeah. I'm going with 5 and similar thinking, like new squad. Same time, I hope I'm being incredibly conservative. Really do, really do. But I'm gonna say by 5.
Basie and Kobus.
Um, same as my Super Brew last week, both games, Blacks and Bokke by 20.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, guys, on
I
the
have to
Blacks,
call
quickly. On the All Blacks. Your predictions on the
20
All Blacks.
by
All Blacks,
20.
I will go with 16.
Yeah, I'm going with 20 as well. Because again, I'm pretty sure this is that game where they felt out what France can do. Now they kick it in.
I'll also go between.
Also 20. So we have 3 20s and 116 for the All Blacks game. I feel so alone now.
I think to go and play in Wellington, All Blacks in Wellington, it's like the Springboks and Ellis Park. Yeah, you don't go there and just think we're going to come here and win the game. All Blacks love to play at Wellington.
Yeah.
They have to play. Now, I think this week they will show because 2 ties to 14 points, throw away 14 points. I think they will come out this week and say, you know what, we give you a chance last week. I will show you what we can do.
I want to give you guys homework before we go. I want to give you guys homework. For next week, I want you guys to put me a team together. A 23-player team with bench as well. Out of the last, let's say, since 2015. A Springbok team only consisting out of Lions players. That you would think,
So current and former Lions players.
yeah, you can use current and former, but they still have to play rugby. Not like Yaku Kriel that's retired and Ron Combrink.
Right. But then like we can include the likes of like Marks and Quacker, right?
Yes, you can do that. Yes, you can, because they're still playing rugby.
Yeah.
Not at Alliance, but they're still playing rugby. So it has to be somebody that still plays rugby until today. That used to be a Lion.
Cool.
Doesn't matter if they started at the Lions. They could have come from Griquas, played their rugby at the Lions, and went off to Japan. Doesn't matter, as long as it's a Lion player. Let's say from 2015 upwards.
Okay.
So you want
That's how it
15 or
works.
23 players?
23. You have to have a bench as well and a captain.
Okay.
Then next week we discuss that. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna keep you longer. It's 11 minutes over.
He must be a coach of something. He must start playing.
Yeah, he must be still playing.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, that's sharp. Okay, guys,
Thank you.
let's wrap this up, and then remember the homework, and remember your predictions, because next week we're gonna review our predictions and see who was right and who was wrong. But you three guys on 20, you must change something, because all three of you guys can't be on 20 points, man. Come on.
No,
Somebody has to be
I-
21 and somebody has to be 19.
No, I had to box for 20 and they won by 18, so I'm happy with my 20. I'm sticking to it.
Okay, I will go and say All Blacks with 18 then.
15, 1-5.
18. 1-8.
18, 1-8. Okay.
Yeah.
Moya, you?
Yeah.
I'll go All Blacks by 25.
25. I like that one. Okay, guys. See you soon.
All right,
Yeah.
enjoy the week. We speak rugby the weekend.
Indeed.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.